Come with me to a magical place where being labeled the pork queen is a compliment, where being nice is just a way of life, and where all leaders of the free world must pass through. Welcome to Iowa. Whether you're a current Iowan, an Iowa expat, or an Iowan at heart, this show is for you. This is the Iowa Podcast. Real Iowans, real talk, no drama. With April showers come, I don't know, what's the rest of that? Do you know the rest of it? Oh yeah, something about flowers, I think. We're talking about flowers, flower farming here in Iowa, but this is actually really fascinating because there's this thing called agritourism, and Bloomsbury Farm in Atkins, Iowa is getting a fair share of some of those agritourism dollars, I think. Sammy Peterson joins us. Now, are you the owner, proprietor, master of ceremony? What's your official role over there?
My parents own the business.
Yeah.
So the farm started out, we have a long history of traditional grain farming. So my parents are the fifth generation to be on the farm. My sister and I are the sixth. So that's how it started. My parents started Bloomsbury Farm, the agritourism side, 30 years ago. So we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. Yeah.
Goodness. And we're going to get into all that.
Yeah, for sure.
So everybody, I'm Justin Brady. We're in the Jethro's Barbecue studio. Really quickly, iowapodcast.com, scroll to the bottom. So go to iowapodcast.com, scroll all the way to the bottom. If you buy a $100 gift card, you get a $30 gift card. So like everybody needs their meal dollars to stretch a little further. So this is kind of one of those duh kind of things. iowapodcast.com, scroll to the bottom, click that link, sign up for the deal. I'm glad you brought up the background because I was going to ask you, like, you have massive, I saw the photos, massive tulip farms, but that's not where this thing started, right?
Right. Yep. So it started as, like I mentioned, just a traditional grain farm. And so my dad's the fifth farmer to farm the land. And my mom and my dad, they both are very creative people, and they just wanted to start a business. And when my sister and I were young, they kind of took a leap of faith, started Bloomsbury Greenhouse, actually. So my mom was a florist by trade. So she started a greenhouse and floral business and planted a few pumpkins, invited my first grade class out for a field trip, and thought...
Really?
And the joke is that she rented a few angry geese, invited my first grade class out, and thought if Sammy's class likes it, why wouldn't the rest of the community? And they planted a few pumpkins and started a little fall festival, and it kind of took off from there.
And this was when?
30 years ago. So,
wow.
Yeah, she opened actually May 1st, 1995.
So kind of the OG agritourism.
Yep, it was a very new industry at that time. Yeah, so now it's a little bit more popular. And we've grown each year, but started out very, very small.
So this was 30 years ago, and you mentioned the farm. The farm's old. You said how many generations? 5?
So my sister and I are the sixth.
Sixth.
Yep.
So it wasn't all, started as a grain farm. Yep. 30 years ago, you said it was your parents that pivoted over to more of an experiential. We call it experiences now, kids.
Yep.
But why did they decide to do that? That was very, very unusual.
Right. It was. My mom is, like I said, just a very creative person, and she wanted to be an entrepreneur. So she started a little greenhouse floral shop and was looking for a way to diversify.
Really? Back then?
Yep.
Because that's a thing now, but it wasn't then.
Right. There was a farm, an agritourism farm in the Chicago area that she visited, and that kind of sparked her interest. And the owners there are still really great friends of ours, and they're
no way.
They're in our industry group. It's called the maize group because we have a corn maze. So we kind of, right. So the industry was very new back then. So a lot of our friends started in that time frame as well. And we've all kind of grown together, which is really fun. And now the second generation of the agritourism business, we're all kind of coming to the conferences now and building relationships. So it's really special. It's a really special group.
It's almost, I was trying to wrap my head around it. My wife found it. She's like,
okay,
this is fascinating.
Yeah, great.
Get her in here. And so I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And it took a while, but finally what I landed on is it's kind of the outdoors, rural version of like Dave and Buster's. Is that a fair, but kind of music and kind of festival as well? How do you communicate what this is to people who've never been there?
Our at our core, and our mission is to give a a place or create a space for the community to come and build memories together and really just feel connected to agriculture and feel connected to a family farm, because there's very few people that are lucky enough to have, just a direct connection to a family farm. And we want to be that for people. So first and foremost, we're a family farm for people to feel connected to. And then, of course, we just throw a big festival. So people are coming out for, like you mentioned, the You Pick Flowers and the pumpkins and the corn maze and stuff like that. But really, it's that festival experience. And that includes just a wide array of fun attractions and experiences for all ages. So we've got the farm fun attractions, we call them, for the kids. So the jumping pillow and the giant corn box and the mini zip line. We've got a petting zoo, straw jump, Western Town, Tire Mountain, all of that stuff. But we also have concession stands, pizza stands, ice cream stands, a beer garden, live music once in a while, a wine, we call it the wine room. So it's a little cozy bar, hay rack rides. We've got a gift shop. So it's really fun for all ages. And we just we say family friendly or adult focused, but family friendly. So we really try to have something for everybody.
Sure. Do you find, I feel like I heard it injected in there somewhere.
Sure.
So do you find that there has been this disconnect with where your food comes from and how it's grown? And do you find that parents and families are trying to educate the little ones about, people work for this? Your food doesn't end up on a plastic tray or on the plate because mom and dad put it in the microwave or cooked it on the range. There's a process here.
Yeah.
Do you find that this is one of the draws that parents are trying to educate their kids on where food comes from?
It could be a little bit. I think the biggest draw is just, a place to come and build memories together kind of out of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so just experiencing the rural beauty of the farm and the festival experience is probably the main draw, but we try to fit some educational, activities in here and there. Right. So, the easiest one to explain is the giant corn box, to be able to play and touch and feel what grain corn feels like. It's very different from what you think of, it's not sweet corn that's on your plate in the summertime. And just kind of learn what that is and what farmers grow and create is very different than what, people might think. So I think the draw is, just a place to build memories, but then the educational experience and just learning a little bit about what a farm has to offer is just kind of woven in between.
It's interesting that your mom had this vision 30 years ago, because now we are seeing, I think the data, you might actually know this better than I do, but I think that, where was it? I think that they're having, so for family farms in 2023, revenue was down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then in 2024, it was a little bit down more. So have you seen that this is kind of a hedge against corn prices that go up and down? Mm-hmm. And I don't know how big the tulip business is at your farm. I don't know if that's a major part of it or a small part of it.
We're not sure yet either. This is our first year.
Wait, this is your first year?
Of tulips.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're opening this Thursday, actually. So we're diving right in.
So you don't have enough data for that yet.
Right.
But over the past 30 years, has the agritourism thing been kind of a good hedge against inflation and recessionary pressures?
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. It's been a really good thing for our family to, like you said, farming and agriculture is a very uncertain, you kind of put all your investment up in the front end and you just pray that it works out, and every year is just a little bit different. So Bloomsbury has really been a great way to kind of even everything out. But we're very weather dependent too on the agritourism side too. Yesterday was Easter Sunday, rained all day long. We were open, it's not going to be a busy day when it's raining. So, but both businesses seem to really even each other out every year. But agritourism has definitely, the Bloomsbury side of the business has become a larger part of the entire pie every year. We just are growing in attendance all the time. We're continually adding new attractions and festivals and reasons for people to come out. So the sky's the limit, and we're growing each year.
You need to have a lard-coated slip and slide for when it rains.
Yeah. There you go. Then we could really
so it's when it rains,
spread the risk there.
That's so funny.
Which is another reason why we're adding, we started out for years and years, we were just a pumpkin patch. So the fall festival was the bulk of the business. When my sister, Jess, and I came into the business, first of all, we needed to kind of show our worth, So we added some different festivals, and that also just spread the weather risk out too. So we have 2 spring events, Bunny Bash, and then now the Iowa Tulip Festival. We'll take a little break. We'll reopen late July for what we call Iowa Flower Festival. So we'll have fields of sunflowers and zinnias in bloom. And then after that, when we close down for a little bit, open up mid-September and roll right through Halloween with the Iowa Fall Festival. And also, not to forget Scream Acres. We've got a haunted attraction as well. So we're open spring, summer, and fall now.
Yeah, spring, summer, and fall. Because obviously the scary attraction being in the fall.
Just Fridays and Saturdays in October.
Yeah.
Right around the Halloween time. Yeah.
So speaking in the lane of now agritourism is fairly broad term, I would imagine, because it also includes like glamping and stuff like that, which by the way, people we had a guest on last year talking about people are traveling to Iowa internationally to do glamping on farms.
Yeah.
And as Iowans, we just take it for granted. Like farms are here. Great. We've seen them a billion times.
They're just looking for an experience.
Yeah, other people are like, this is pretty cool. You know? So Iowans like, really? Okay. They like us. They really like us.
Yeah.
Agritourism is quite broad, but is there a name for turning your farm into a destination? Does that have a designation or a name or an industry like attached to it? Or do you just call it?
We call it agritourism, I guess. But there is an industry. We're involved in a couple of groups. The Maize Company, as I mentioned earlier, is one, and another one's called NAFTMA. And there's a lot of, we're all just a little bit different. Some farms grow a lot of food crops, like vegetables, and you pick strawberries and raspberries and that kind of thing. There's apple orchard, that would be another form of agritourism. We're more like you pick pumpkins and flowers and not so much of the, food crop stuff. So there can be some differences, but we just use the term agritourism and kind of all learn from each other in those industries. Within
the farm attraction space, Dave & Buster's 4 Farms, let's call it that. Did you see COVID kind of be a boon to your business? Did that really inspire Iowans to get out there, get outside and do outside stuff? Was this helpful for the farm?
Yes, it did end up being a good thing, but it was a challenging year for sure, as it was for most, most others too. During the year 2020 with COVID, we are a business that depends on people coming and gathering, so we really had to kind of find ways to keep people safe and make sure people felt safe on our farm. The good thing about our farm is that we're an outdoors venue. Yeah. And tons of wide open space. So we were one of few that were open, and people felt comfortable coming to because we were in the open air and people could kind of control who they were near, and make sure they felt safe too. So it was really, it turned out to be a great year, but we had to make a lot of changes and a lot of decisions on how to keep people safe and continue to operate. Not to mention we had the derecho come through that same year in August. So we were rebuilding the farm and a lot of attractions while we were trying to figure out how to open for the fall. But it all worked out.
Did that destroy a bunch of stuff on your farm?
It was tough on it. Yeah. Good. Yeah, it was. And it was hard on the farming side of the business too. But it wasn't our first storm, and we always have to look at the storms as an opportunity to rebuild and change and pivot from things that maybe weren't working in the past. And so it was our second major storm, and I could use a break. We don't really need one right now, but we do look at the tornado in 2004 and the derecho in 2020 as blessings in disguise, and we're better because of them for sure.
Speaking of farms as attractions now, is there pressure for you and operators that are doing this? You're not the only ones. You've mentioned that there are people doing this 30 years. Your mom did it 30 years ago. There were some in Chicago. Is there pressure to try to expand the calendar to year-round events? It sounds like you're really, really close. Is this the goal, is to have an attraction every month of the year, all year, every year?
We're open to it. We aren't super interested in the winter months. And the reason being is because, as I mentioned before, we are weather dependent, and we're, so we've really decided to focus on the spring, summer, and fall still being the main the biggest event and chunk of our business. But we're open to adding more and more events all the time. We just ended Bunny Bash yesterday, and we started selling tickets for Iowa Tulip Festival today. So we're really, like I mentioned, the sky's the limit, and we'd love to be open more and give people in the community more reasons to come. We just love sharing our farm with people. There's nothing better than watching families and people smile and take pictures together and just build those core memories, and we want to just offer more opportunities for people to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of May 10th through 11th is the next event.
May 10th and 11th for, I think, what
Kites.
you're mentioning is the Kite Festival.
And
yes.
then you have the Flower Festival on July 25th through August 3rd.
Yep, later.
And then
summer.
July 26th through 27th is Morning Dew.
Yep, that will be a flea market. Yeah, so we're getting real creative.
It's coming back to you. You're like, holy crap, we're doing a lot of stuff.
I know. Yeah, we got a busy year ahead. So what the Morning Dew event, what you're referring to, so sometimes like within the festivals, we have special focuses each weekend. So the Morning Dew Art and Flea Festival is kind of inside the Iowa Flower Festival, which is when we have the zinnias in bloom and the sunflowers and the live music. There's one weekend where we'll have, local artisans and, like you would expect at a flea market, and something kind of just an added attraction.
Do you do all the flower? Like, are you growing all those flowers yourself on the farm? So it's not just tulips. It's you rattled off a
no,
list.
we've got all kinds of crops, and we're pushing. We call him Farmer Dave, my dad. He's not only a traditional grain farmer anymore, he's now a zinnia, sunflower, tulip, and pumpkin farmer.
And how does he feel about that?
I think he really loves it. I'm sure he does.
That's fantastic.
He does. It's a lot of learning. Each new crop is just a little bit different equipment. But he enjoys the challenge, I think.
Did your operations change significantly when, I think there was an Iowa Codes 673A, May 19th, 2021. It was just the Agritourism Protection Law.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So you're probably thinking, we talked ahead of time. I'm like, we're not doing politics. Don't worry. She was probably like, why are we talking about laws? Are you kidding me? Yeah, so the agritourism law. Did that change things for you? Because I don't know much about that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's a good law. I just don't know much about it.
It is. And the state of Iowa in general is very supportive of the agritourism industry. And we're very grateful for that, because that's not always the case. I wouldn't say that the Agritourism Protection Act really changed how we did things, but it did just offer another layer of peace of mind and protection for us. So there are specific things that we have to, comply with. We have to have the exact verbiage, posted.
What?
It's
easy.
Exact
verbiage posted
it's
somewhere?
Just like
what is this about?
Just like the warning that, customers read when they come in, that they're making the decision to come onto a working farm and so on and so forth. So we had to put up signage and include it on our online ticketing and things like that, which is very easy changes to make. But we always do our best to create a very safe place to be. So each attraction that we build is built with that in mind.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it changed how we operate, but it did just offer a little bit more protection for us. And we're very grateful that our state is supportive of the agritourism industry.
Yeah, there's one thing that's really interesting that you're doing that I haven't really seen anybody do at Iowa.
Okay, what's that?
And it's... I don't know how else to say this. So there may be, I know there's a strategy behind it, because I see that there's a strategy there. I just can't really, I don't know what I'm looking at. But it's like you've designed the entire farm and the entire experience around making it easier for people to Instagram and take social media photos and stuff. Oh yeah,
that's a big focus for us.
So this is a thing.
Yep.
I'm not, okay, so it's almost like, because people call it the experience economy, which you're definitely tapping into. But when you designed the attractions and designed the farms and designed all the stuff you were doing, was there a lot of thought that went into backgrounds and settings and that kind of thing? Talk about that.
Yeah, yep. I would say more so in the last 7 or 8 years for the branding piece of it. But my parents, both my mom and my dad, were very forward thinking with where they placed different food venues and gift shops and attractions. So they really put a lot of thought into how they wanted the farm to flow. And we're grateful for that, because as we grow, they were very smart in where they placed things. We just have a ton of room for people to go, not to be all cramped in one little spot, But as far as the branding is concerned and what you're talking about, photo ops and Instagram, we're very intentional about, the signage and our logo and our brand colors being all over the place, and lots of different spots for people to take selfies and take really beautiful photos to post and tag us. And that really is part of our marketing strategy for sure.
Yeah, and people do it.
All the time, yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's even, not just like photo ops and backdrops and buildings and things like that, but, our specialty drink cups and mugs and the drinks.
Right.
I mean, that's
true.
I would say the specialty drinks and the food items are our top, Instagram tagged item. And that's what does best. The photos of the drinks and the food are what do best in our ads too, like
the
social media ads.
The photos and the drinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we make these crazy like slushy ice cream drinks with and without alcohol, depending. And there's whipped cream on top and all kinds of toppings and crazy things. And they're just beautiful. And they have our brand on the front and people just love. They're delicious too. I mean, they taste good.
It's super polished. It looks really well done.
Thank you. We work hard at that. So.
People that don't know. Some people know. I'm a recovering but formerly trained graphic designer.
All right.
So and it has my full approval.
Oh, I'm glad to say that. I was going to say we could maybe use some of your expertise, but
no, I can't help you. It looks really good.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see because in the Instagram photos I'm seeing, some that you post, some that your customers post, it's like you have the flower truck and it's staged, and you have some of it's a lot of like staged opportunities where you're kind of like making it easy on people to take the selfies and stuff, if that makes any sense.
We've got selfies, we call them selfies. They're not selfie sticks, but they're basically like
little stands.
Yeah, you can put your phone on and reverse the camera, and that way, whenever I see a family trying to take a picture by a photo op, I always jump in and say, "Can I?"
Let me help
why don't you jump in there too?
I'm always the one that gets picked in my family.
Yeah, right.
Or when we're traveling,
because we really want everybody to have the opportunity to get in the photo. So. We selfie stations, that's what they're called. So we built selfie stations and put them by all of our popular
and those are little
ops.
stands that they can hit their timer button.
Yep, exactly. So
brilliant.
It fits the phone just perfectly in there. The timer goes, starts, and they jump in the picture.
Yeah, because
it works out really good.
So many people try to like have their own technology, and then it's like tap your email address so we can send it to you, and then you get on the mailing list, and it's like people don't actually do that, But if you're giving them just a stand where they can use their own device, that makes a lot more sense. The other thing, like you've done, outside of just staged areas and helping them with, by the way, the selfie stands, you're helping them position their photo.
Yeah.
Right. I'm assuming that's intentional.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But you're also doing like moments that are more Instagrammable or more experiential, which you kind of have your is it golden hour or something, date night or something like this?
Yep, we've got a golden hour date night coming up. So that's on May 2nd. And that's with the Tulip Festival. So the draw is, the tulip fields on, golden hour, kind of at that sunset time frame. We'll have live music that night. And of course the wine slushies, we've got wine slushie flights. And it's more of an adult-focused event, but yeah, the golden hour, because people want to come out when on the beautiful farm backdrop with the tulips and the sun going down. I mean, there's nothing better than that. So that's what that event is all about. And
this is something I feel like we've lost generally. As I work with different companies, experiences are a big, big deal. People will pay a premium for not a product, but just an experience, and then something they can talk about, something they can take photos of. Generally, hospitality industry knows this to be true, but we have this moment where customer service and experiences in general suck. It's just bad everywhere you go, terrible service everywhere you go, everything's terrible all the time. And people are cheapening the products and have forgotten that people love experiences and being surrounded by these environments that you create. And here is a local Iowa farm that has remembered these things, but it's kind of being driven by by social media, which is super interesting. Why do you think that, and you may not know, I don't expect you to know the answer to this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You guys seem to get it. You seem to focus on these really, really incredible experiences that are shareable and people can talk about with their family.
Mm-hmm.
What happened like nationally where some of these organizations just don't seem to get it? They've seemed to they've lost touch with their customer. This is, maybe we're going too philosophical, but that's probably our last question. I'm just curious if you have a reaction.
I don't know why that would be, but we really focus on giving our customers an experience that they want to come back again to over and over again, making traditions out of it. So in order to encourage people to come back again, we've got to give them a top-notch experience the first time. And we spend a lot of time too not a lot of time, but we make sure that our staff is happy and having a good time too, because if our staff has a smile on their face and are having a good time, then our customers will too.
Yeah.
If your staff comes to work and they don't like being there because it's an awful place to work and they don't want to be there and they want to leave, then our customers they're going to feel that.
Yeah.
So we've got a great team. It takes a lot of people to pull off some of these festivals when we're really busy. And we're just so grateful for the people that we've got. And that really helps bring our customers' experience to the next level, I guess. But it's all about delivering value on what, customers are expecting to experience, and then we hope they come back again.
Do you see a draw from neighboring states, from visitors coming back?
A little bit, yeah. We're getting further and further, out with our marketing, so we can control that with our social media ads and stuff like that. But we see people coming from further and further all the time, which is really exciting. Because of course our main customer base comes from Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and the corridor in between. Sure. But we also pull from Des Moines and the Quad Cities and Dubuque and those areas too. But when they come from, Wisconsin and Illinois, that's really exciting.
Well, yeah,
we really love to drive through the parking lot and just look at all the license plates and see where people are coming from.
Sure.
It's really fun to see.
Illinois people, man, they're always looking for an excuse to get out of Illinois.
That's
right.
Could be true.
It's funny.
We hope they're coming to Bloomsbury Farms.
There are two states east of the river, the state of Illinois and the state of Chicago. And yes, I said that right. You talk to anybody in Illinois, they almost seem to have this chip on their shoulder from people in Chicago. And they're like, we're not them. They're different. It's always funny. So anyway, Sammy Peterson, as her friends call her Sammy, Sammy Peterson of Bloomsbury Farm in Atkins, Iowa. What's the website and the Instagram handle or Facebook page, whatever the easiest way is for people to reach out to you and find out what's going on over there?
So our website is www.bloomsburyfarm.com. Bloomsbury is spelled BLOOMSBURY farm.com. You can see all of our events on there, our Bunny Bash, the Iowa Tulip Festival, Iowa Flower Festival, Iowa Fall Festival, and then there's a link to Screen Makers as well. And we keep our Facebook page up to date all the time, and our Instagram handle is Bloomsbury Farm 1856, which is the date that our farm was founded.
Oh, cool.
So we're very active on social media, and we'd love to have everybody out. We're excited to kick off the 2025 season.
And some of you driving, don't try to write that down. We'll make sure to put that all at iowapodcast.com as well. We'll put all those links there and make sure to link over to your thing in the show notes that you're listening. That link will be there as well. Sammy, thank you so much for coming on the Iowa Podcast.
Thanks for having me. This has been really fun.
And to my fellow Iowans, Iowa expats, and Iowans at heart, thanks for listening and subscribing to the Iowa Podcast.